video blog number 2. To piggyback off video blog number 1 and what I talked about, just talking about how things happen that aren't necessarily positive, and you need to try to figure it out. You got to figure out why this happened or why that happened. I personally think that with Saraiah, we need to write a book. And I say my wife and I, because we have, I think, 2 different perspectives. My wife is more positive than I am, and I would call myself more of a realist. And it would be good for us to write a book about our lives that we lived when Saraiah was born. Maybe a little bit before she was born, and then the process of just living with a daughter that has 4 major heart defects, living in and out of a hospital, and then having the diagnosis change, and then living life with just a child with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and what life looks like, and the pressures that you have, just the roller coaster that we went on, and then trying to find God in the midst of all of it. I think it's good for me, because that was a lot of sacrifice. Even though Veronica, and I would say Vicky, they took on a lot of that responsibility as a father, as a husband, and as a dreamer of my own goals and my own dreams, and those being tied into me being a provider, and watching those go to the wayside, because people embezzle money before before Saraiah is born. Then you realize you're living in and out of a hospital. Your dreams of pursuing your basketball organization gets a punch or a kick in the nuts, because all of a sudden your funding is gone because somebody else does something stupid like embezzle money, and then it's like you want to hold on to it, but in all reality you don't have the time, because now you're going in and out of the hospital, there's more responsibilities, you're also waiting upon death, and you wonder why did this take place? Am I getting punished? What is God trying to teach us? Do we actually learn anything? Does this actually help somebody else out? Those are the types of things that you think about when you're writing a book, but at the same time, I want to be real. I want to be genuine. I don't want to be fake. I think there's just too many Christian books out there that just try to throw sunshine up your ass, and it's just not real. I think talking about real problems, talking about real sin, talking about making mistakes and not doing the right thing all the time, feeling overwhelmed, feeling rejected, feeling like woe's me, feeling like your dreams are being shredded apart, and that I'm supposed to have a good attitude about it, and be positive about where God's put me, and I'm sorry, that wasn't the case. That wasn't reality. Matter of fact, I was angry, I was mad, I was distraught, I was pissed off, but at the same time, bit skewed because you didn't know if that was your last day, with her. And, and at the end, some of it was like, you're kind of hoping, it comes sooner than later, but it was just at times really drawn out and overwhelming. And it's like the big pink elephant in the room where you're just like, okay, you don't want to think about it, but then again, it is the big pink elephant in the room. So trying to enjoy life under those circumstances is quite difficult, to say the least. It affects everything. It affects your children, it affects your marriage, it affects your dreams, it affects your purpose. It's like everything goes on, like you hit the brakes, but at the same time, you still have to work, you still have to live life, you still have, there are so many emotional attachments that are affected by your circumstances, especially like Saraiah's situation, and then the judgment of others, people thinking, well, are they doing it the right way? Are they not doing it the right way? And, all of those things. And some of those people have never had an experience or a daughter like ours. And, they still feel like, oh, well, we know it because we can see it from afar. And, in your heart, you got to forgive them, but at the same time, you're kind of pissed off at them at the same time. This is like, at the same time, you're like, what the hell, dude? Like, you don't know shit. You don't know anything about this. You're not here. You can get up and you can leave. The funny thing is they'd come over, or if they did come over, they'd be judgmental, and they wouldn't say anything, but you could see it was written all over their faces. And it's funny. It's just like, anyway. It was just, God, a buddy wrote something on Facebook, and he said, the beginning of heaven is order. Order. Man, there was no order when Saraiah was with us. There was no order. A matter of fact, it caused organized chaos, is what it did. Because everything was unpredictable. You didn't know when she was going to pass. You didn't know when she was going to get C. diff. You didn't know the next time she was going to get sick and you had to go into the hospital. And all the other appointments that you had to figure out, or they put her on hospice, and we took her off hospice. And they wouldn't do the tests because she was terminal. So you didn't know all the illnesses or the allergies or the things that she actually was struggling with. It was utter chaos. There was no order. There was no, and at times there were moments of peace. There wasn't real peace. And here you are, supposed to be a father of 3 other children, or 2 other children at that time. And then also when Israel came, 3 other children. So it was. You look at it and you hope at the end of the day that there's purpose, some meaning behind it, and honestly, you're happy. You went through it, you got through it. I don't know if you feel like we've accomplished a whole lot. That's another thing. So when I talked to Veronica, and I said, hey, why should we write this book? She doesn't seem to be too excited about it. And she said something to me, and she goes, I told her, I don't know if I've unhatched or have dealt with all of that, all of the things that went on the 8 years of her life. And she's like, well, I don't know. Are you ready to open that up and deal with it? And I'm like, most of the time, for the most part, I thought I've dealt with it. I know I wasn't the greatest father to her. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm not getting a get out of jail free card. I'm not doing that by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, I mean, there are probably things that I haven't actually dealt with, or I mean, I think now after she's been gone for 3 years, almost 4 now, I just feel like you know, it could be you know, something that would be good for me, and there should be some type of healing in it, I would hope. But then also, you know, I don't know, like a book like that, who does that book go to? Who are you trying to get that book to? And I think that book, like Veronica mentioned, it was very easy to share the gospel of Jesus Christ because of Saraiah's story. And I was like, yeah, that's number one. I think that's number one. And then it's also number two is just, you know, for people that have to deal with, not deal, and sometimes it is dealing, I'm not going to lie, with someone with special needs that's within your family. Feeling guilty for not doing enough. Making sure that those people don't feel like they're alone. And some of their emotions or their feelings are valid. And, you know, some of those feelings, yeah, you have to learn how to fight through them and learn to be better at serving. I think that book would be good, but I mean, at the same time, I think our relationship with Jesus is a walk. You're walking in sacrifice. You're walking in a surrendered state of mind, that your life is not your own. So I think that's part of it, you know. And then also, you know, deciding to be like, you know what, you know, this is unfair, you know, and you can walk around with a woe's me attitude. You really can. You really can. And, you know, some people are stronger than others, you know. Yeah, it's just one of them things where it touches so many different avenues of life. And, you know, to fine-tune that, to make it clear on exactly what you want this book to represent would be difficult. So, anyway, I think I'm going to start there, and this part of this video blog is about that. It's about going, okay, you know, it really knocked me off my sail. It destroyed me. Mentally, physically, spiritually. My goals, my dreams went to the shitter. I mean, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, spiritually exhausted. Trying to keep your head above water. You know, I told everybody that it probably is going to take 10 years off my life, and that might still be true. I hope it's not, but at the same time, it's now, you know, she's gone for the last 3 years, so now it's like, okay, you know, what am I going to get back? What am I going to fight for? You know, what am I going to fight for? Whatever I lost, mentally, physically, or spiritually. You know, I'm actually in a place where I'm like, okay, I can face this. You know, how do I get it back? How do I fight for it? Can I get it back? You know, I am older, you know, and I have lost the ability to, whatever momentum I had for my goals and my dreams and my ministry or my business or whatever is gone. You know, what can I get back? Or have I lost it? You know, and yeah, those are the things that I'm dealing with emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and, you know, how do you strive forward? You know, so I guess that's it in a nutshell. Video blog number 2. I know that was kind of sporadic, but not. But yeah, goal, video blog 2 is the conclusion is, yeah, we want to write a book about the experiences with Saraiah, but at the same time,